Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders may have broken the law in regards to her $19,000 lectern that she purchased from a friend. This is according to legislative auditors in the state of Arkansas and a new report released by them. Hoo boy. So now this report documented 7 areas of potential non-compliance with state law by the governor's office and referred those findings to Pulaski County Prosecutor William Jones to determine whether any criminal charges should be filed. Now, the report cited several potential legal violations, including paying for the lectern before it was delivered and the handling of records regarding the purchase. I'll get to the details of that, but let me just say, here we go. Oh boy.
USA, USA, USA.
All right, so this audit came about as a result of massive public scrutiny because of not only the cost of the lectern, which is way more expensive than other similar lecterns, but because the person that she bought it from happened to be a paid consultant on her 2022 gubernatorial campaign. Not only that, but also several other factors that were involved in this, that were people were asking like, hey, you bought this lectern, you're not even using it. What's the deal there? So in all, the auditors found 10 potential legal violations. I already mentioned 2 of them. The payment was made before it was even delivered. The purchase of the lectern was tallied as an operating expense, even though it's not an operating expense, it's a piece of equipment. The state agency responsible for governor's office record keeping wasn't even notified of the delivery of this lectern, which, by the way, that means there was no formal purchasing documents or invoice obtained before the payment was made. The governor's office also didn't notify the proper state agency before selling off the lectern and the case that goes along with it. Now, at that time, that was state property. They ended up selling it directly to the Republican Party of Arkansas, since they were not able to use it. A governor's office staffer had shredded the bill of lading for the lectern delivery. That is a potential violation of document retention rules. And the governor's office didn't draw up a business expense justification statement until after people started asking questions. The purchase was made. Also, there were handwritten notes on 2 of the 3 invoices made by the executive assistant to the governor's office, deputy chief of staff. That said, to be reimbursed. To be reimbursed by who? Those were added after the fact and could be considered tampering with a public record. This is after there was some scrutiny on this. Auditors also said that they were unable to determine whether the lectern's costs were actually reasonable, considering how it was $19,000. I'll get into those costs as well in the breakdown of it. But there's another shady part to this. And that's the fact that 3 of the out-of-state vendors involved in its purchase had refused to give any information related to it, which was, again, very strange. Add to that the fact that this was around the time that her administration was making changes to their open records law to make them less open. So this has to do with the FOIA, which is, by the way, the Freedom of Information Act request, which is how we got the information on the lectern to begin with. Now, Arkansas had tried to pass a more, restrictions on FOIA. In fact, the first 2 versions of the legislation would have actually denied Arkansans the right to access information about the conduct of government officials. Like the governor. Yeah. Now, that didn't pass. The bill that ultimately passed just shields all records and communications concerning the planning or provision of security services to the governor and other state elected officials. But certainly they had pushed and attempted to get the first 2 versions of it. Look, the only way that the current version had passed is if they took those out, because it was too much an attempt to cover up and protect the actions, potential bad actions of the governor and their staff, these government officials' conduct. Now, Sanders' office responded to the findings of the audit by calling them, quote, deeply flawed and a waste of taxpayer resources and time, and probably also blaming it on
woke mob
or something. I don't know. She said, and by the way, originally she had welcomed the audit, and now she's like, what a waste of time. No laws were broken, her office said in a response filed with the report. No fraud was committed. Oh, yeah, okay. She then personally took to her X account and posted a video featuring the lectern and the words, come and take it. First of all, real mature, right? Secondly, you sold it to the Republican Party. Okay, you don't even have it anymore. Now, Sanders' office and auditors had disputed with each other whether the governor and other constitutional officers are subject to the purchasing and property rules that she's been accused of violating. Normally, it doesn't really, or she says that it doesn't affect government officials, but just businesses. And the auditors are, they don't agree with that. The audit also said that Sanders' office potentially illegally tampered with public records when the words to be reimbursed were added to the original invoice for the lectern only after the state GOP paid for it in September. Sanders' office disputed that finding, saying that this is a common bookkeeping practice. But not for the government, which has transparency rules in place to prevent shady things. The audit also said the office potentially violated the law when a shipping document related to the lectern was shredded, as I mentioned, by a member of Sanders' staff. She said that the document, the bill of lading, was inadvertently misplaced, and that a replacement was provided to the auditors when that was discovered. Yes, we inadvertently misplaced it right into the shredder.
Give me a break.
Come on. Come on. Oh, that's where that went. Right in the shredder. Who would have known? Okay. Now, I told you we're going to get into the cost. So, similar lectern models are listed online for about $7,500 or less. The total purchase cost of this lectern was $19,029. Now, that includes some other shady expenditures here. Now, the lectern itself was severely overpriced at $11,575. The travel case was $2,200. All right. And by the way, the auditors were like, okay, we get that. That seems reasonable if you're going to make a bunch of, additions to it, right? We'll get to that. The shipping and delivery for the lectern were respectively $1,225 and $975. But then they added an unspecified consulting fee equaling $2,500. Consulting fee? What? That purchase also included a $554 credit card processing fee. Yeah, of course. Now, Sanders tried to justify the cost of the lectern, saying it had all these additional features that we ordered on. Oh, like what? Like what? Well, the audit said the lectern had included a light, but not a microphone or any other electronic components. So, the light. So the light makes it roughly $4,000 more than a typical lectern. $4,000 to $5,000 more than a typical lectern. Okay. Now, she also said, well, the adjustable height, right? That's what we ordered. We ordered one with an adjustable height, a different height, because, Sarah Sanders is kind of short. But there's a problem with that, too. So the one that was delivered, and this explains why it was not used by Sarah Sanders, is it wasn't even the right height. I thought it was supposed to be adjustable. They asked for 39 inches. The one that was delivered was 44, and it was not adjustable, at least not adjustable enough for Sarah Sanders to be able to use it. Hey, mistakes happen. Things get ordered incorrectly, right? So what happened? Did they get it fixed? Now, according to the report, the governor's office staff discovered shortly after delivery the height of the podium did not meet order specifications, planned to return return it to be corrected, right? Was it, though? No, it was not. The Republican Party ended up paying for it, while Sarah's friend, once again, the person that worked on her campaign, ended up keeping the money for the lectern, as well as the, again, unspecified consulting fee of $2,500. Pretty sure that she has the money. About the only thing that they can say about this is that, hey, it turns out the lectern and the podium, and the case, they actually do exist. Because there was a lot of speculation that they actually didn't because nobody had seen it. Wow. So basically, the only thing that you can say is, hey, I told you it was real. Okay, but what about all the weird costs? What about how, how it was so much more expensive and still, and all the stuff that you tried to cover up and all the stuff that, the records requests and everything that you tried to hide. What about that? Really no answer for that. At least not a good one. Everything about this entire podium, lectern, gate, whatever you want to call it, it stinks. It stinks. And these are the same people, mind you, who accuse the government of wasting taxpayer money when you try to, follow the money, when you try to investigate what exactly is going on. Again, it's the projection here, right? Oh, you're wasting taxpayer money. Well, you're trying to funnel money to your friends. I mean, that's what I see from this, okay? Now, the question is, of course, are they actually going to do anything about this? Will there be any criminal charges? My guess is no. I doubt there will be anything for the governor or anything in her inner circle, anyone involved. Maybe a low-level staffer might get, charged with something, but I doubt it. Because there will always be ways that they will find to protect people in power. Because power will always protect power.